Not My Star Trek. Section 31 director addresses concerns about new movie and its divisive organization. Star Trek. Section 31 director Olatunde Osunsanmi has opened up on the movie's controversial nature and the furor that has surrounded it. The TV movie is the 14th overall in the Star Trek franchise, and Section 31 stars Michelle Yeoh as Philippa Georgiou, reprising her role from Star Trek Discovery. Section 31 sees Georgiou join the titular secret division of Starfleet, which is tasked with conducting covert operations for the United Federation of Planets. The upcoming movie has caused consternation among many Star Trek fans, and there are concerns about how it fits into Star Trek canon. In an interview with TV Line, Osunsanmi opens up on the backlash that the movie has received prior to its release, and the fact that many fans are concerned with the direction the movie will take, and how it differs from creator John Roddenberry's original vision. Addressing the concerns of fans claiming, "Not My Star Trek," and dubbing the movie as antithetical to the essence of the show, Osunsanmi has tried to ease concerns by reassuring fans that the film will attempt to uphold the values of Star Trek. Check out the director's full comments below. What we can say is we worked really hard to make sure we kept up the ideals of optimism, and what do we want our society to be in the future? In the end, Section 31 is good, it's fun, and it's a joy. Hopefully they're pleasantly surprised. What Osunsanmi's comments mean for Star Trek, Section 31. Osunsanmi has presented a positive view of the upcoming Star Trek, Section 31, but this makes sense as he is the director of the movie. But if what he says is true, the movie could be an enjoyable entry in Star Trek canon. However, the legacy fans are right to share concerns about how the film will fit into the franchise. The movie's focus on a shadowy, clandestine organization, largely consisting of morally ambiguous characters, engaged in morally gray actions, feels in direct contrast to the core ideals of peace and diplomacy that are such a key pillar of the franchise. The idea of a Star Trek spy movie feels like anathema, and a betrayal of John Roddenberry's vision. Section 31 as an organization has appeared in several episodes of the TV shows, as well as in the Star Trek Expanded Universe, but this is the first time Section 31 has been the principal subject of a movie. The concept of anti-heroes playing a prominent role in Star Trek is not a common trope, and it is one that could prove challenging for audiences to get on board with, especially with a relatively new character. This is something that the movie will have to grapple with if it is going to help cater to the franchise's strong existing audience. Our verdict on Star Trek, Section 31's chances of success. Section 31 feels like a movie that has its work cut out for it, and doesn't feel like it was made for legacy fans. For one thing, the idea of a Star Trek spy movie feels like anathema, and a betrayal of Gene Roddenberry's vision, but it's also the first Star Trek movie not to focus on the Starship Enterprise, which could be another point of contention among legacy fans used to the tradition and formula of Star Trek. However, some may view Star Trek, Section 31 as bringing complexity and intrigue to the franchise narrative, and offering something a little different. Ever since Paramount Pictures announced its bold new direction for the Star Trek cinematic universe, a film centered around the covert operations of Section 31, the fandom has been torn apart like a warped core under strain. The upcoming film, Star Trek, Shadows of the Federation, helmed by acclaimed director Lyra Kale, and starring Michelle Yeoh reprising her role as Philippa Georgiou, promises a darker, morally complex vision of the Star Trek universe. And not everyone is on board. Within minutes of the first teaser dropping last month, the hashtag #NotMyStarTrek began trending across social media. Critics and longtime Trekkies alike expressed concerns that the franchise's core ideals of exploration, diplomacy, and optimism are being jettisoned in favor of espionage, moral ambiguity, and ethically gray storytelling. But in a surprise move on Thursday, Paramount released a pre-recorded message from within the Star Trek universe. A statement from the newly appointed Section 31 director, a character simply known as Director Varel, played by Idris Elba in a mysterious, high-ranking role for the upcoming film. The in-universe address, framed as a leaked transmission, broke the fourth wall and directly addressed the audience's concerns. Hope without vigilance is Navette. Many of you question our methods. You recoil at the notion that shadows walk alongside the light of the Federation, Varel says, seated in a sleek, Black Ops command center with Federation insignia barely visible behind encrypted overlays. But let me ask you, when threats emerge from subspace, from parallel timelines, from within our very systems, who do you think ensures your starships can fly freely? Who ensures your ideals survive contact with the real universe? It's a chilling monologue, one designed to provoke thought rather than comfort. And it sparked even more debate. Critics slam the tone. Dr. Ellen Rios, a media theorist at New Berlin University, argues that the film risks abandoning the aspirational tone that set Star Trek apart from its sci-fi contemporaries. When Star Trek first aired in 1966, it wasn't just entertainment, it was a vision. The multiracial bridge crew. A universe where humanity had evolved beyond greed and war. Section 31 undermines that vision. It says, "No, we didn't evolve. We just got sneakier." Fans echo her sentiment. "We already have grimdark space operas," said Twitter user at TrekPurist215. "I don't need Star Trek to be the expanse with phasers." Defenders of the dark, yet others welcome the change. Reddit threads and fan essays have cropped up defending Section 31's inclusion and even celebrating it. "It's not about replacing the optimistic vision," argues user RogaCaptain89. "It's about expanding it. Every utopia needs protectors, people who operate in the shadows so others don't have to." Michelle Yeoh herself has spoken about the complexity of Georgiou's role. "She's not a villain, and she's not a saint," Yeoh said in an interview. "She's someone who believes the ends can justify the means. The real question is, what are the consequences of living by that code?" The film's direction. Director Lyra Kale, known for her political thrillers and psychological depth, has promised a nuanced look at Section 31. "We're not glorifying shadow ops," Kale said at a virtual fan event. "This is a character study. It's about power, secrecy, and the cost of protecting a vision. You'll see the cracks in the armor." The story, set in the aftermath of the Dominion War and loosely connected to the events of Star Trek Discovery, explores how Section 31 navigates peace as a threat greater than war emerges from the edges of known space. Legacy and loyalty. Even actors from previous Star Trek iterations have weighed in. LeVar Burton, who played Geordi LaForge in The Next Generation, tweeted, "Section 31 doesn't feel like my Trek, but stories evolve. If this helps the next generation see themselves in the stars, I'm in." Still, the divide is real, and it's growing. Fan petitions, both for and against the film, have gathered tens of thousands of signatures. Some fans are calling for a boycott. Others are counting down the days until release. The final frontier of storytelling. In his closing message, director Varel doesn't ask for forgiveness or even understanding. He simply states, "You may not see us, but you will feel our presence. We are not the face of the Federation. We are its shadow. And shadows only exist where light shines bright." It's a line that will no doubt become iconic or infamous. With Star Trek: Shadows of the Federation set for release this fall, one thing is certain. Love it or hate it, Section 31 is forcing fans to look inward and ask what Star Trek truly means to them. And perhaps, in true Trek fashion, that's the real mission. Let me know if you'd like an alternate take, maybe more satirical, hopeful, or even presented like an in-universe Starfleet news article. Even actors from previous Star Trek iterations have weighed in. LeVar Burton, who played Geordi LaForge in The Next Generation, tweeted, "Section 31 doesn't feel like my Trek, but stories evolve. If this helps the next generation see themselves in the stars, I'm in." Still, the divide is real, and it's growing. Fan petitions, both for and against the film, have gathered tens of thousands of signatures. Some fans are calling for